Introduce yourself and your colleagues, and then make whatever presentation you'd like to make. I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. My name is Rick White. I'm the Interim Director Chief of the Nashville Fire Department. With me today, to my right, I have Finance Officer Leanne Burstall and her Assistant Gina Gibbs. In the audience, I'd like to recognize all of our Deputy Chiefs and Deputy Directors who are in attendance. Mayor Dean, Deputy Mayor Highnote, Finance Director Riebling, good morning and thank you for having us here today. We're here to represent the goals, the accomplishments and goals of the more than 1,100 personnel, men and women who've dedicated themselves to the safety of our residents in the Nashville Fire Department. And I want to first and foremost thank them for their service and their efforts to make this department what it is. We've had a tremendous year at the Nashville Fire Department. That is due in no small part, Mayor, to your ongoing commitment to public safety in Nashville. And through that commitment, we as a department and as a city have accomplished much in the last year. I want to begin first by making a statement that I'm very proud to be able to make today, to the residents of Nashville today, rather. We're fully on budget for this current fiscal year. This is no small feat considering what our men and women have been able to do over the last year. In that time, we've added 3 new ambulance companies by reallocating 33 positions to our staff on 4 shifts in EMS. This will allow us to grow the total number of ambulances on our street at all times from 22 to 25. These 25 ambulances will be in operation 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Because we reallocated these positions, they come at 0 additional cost to the taxpayers. In addition, this year we've absorbed 35 new firefighter emergency medical technician positions that were originally funded by the federal SAFER grant. This brings the total positions our department has absorbed in the last 2 years to 67, all done with 0 additional cost to the taxpayers. Over the last years, we have implemented our fast car program. I say re-implemented. We had it several years ago, and then it died off. This is an initiative to cut down on miles and wear and tear of our fire vehicles, our heavy fire engines and fire trucks. We began with 3 fast car units at 3 of our busy stations. Excuse me. Instead of sending a fire engine to all routine EMS calls, we will instead send teams of 2 firefighter EMTs and Chevy Tahoes to such emergencies. By doing so, we have cut down on fire engine runs by more than 50% at the 3 stations that we initially started this program out with. We've saved over 4,300 miles of travel and wear and tear on these heavy pieces of equipment. This was done without compromising the safety of those we serve, and it was done using already existing vehicles, again at no additional cost to the taxpayers. The program's been so successful that we're in the process of adding 2 additional fast car units in April. Our arson unit continues to stand as what I maintain is one of the best, if not the best, arson units in the nation. In 2014, they investigated 309 fires, 56 of which turned out to have been intentionally set. We made 38 arrests in 24 cases, and I'm very proud to report that every arrest we made has resulted in a conviction. Our public education efforts remain strong. In February, we were proud to host a 32-hour car seat safety course for public safety officials across the state. Through it, we have improved our own expertise and plan to use that in the community at a number of events this year in partnership with the Safe Kids Coalition. We've also expanded our smoke detector campaigns. A smoke detector remains as one of the most important tools in keeping your family or an individual safe in their residence. To that end, we have increased our efforts to distribute free smoke detectors to Nashville residents in need by partnering with community groups, churches, and the state. We have no doubt that all these efforts will result in saved lives. We're proud of what we've been able to do internally. Some of the most exciting accomplishments over the past year have been in partnership with General Services and your administration, Mayor. Through a $6.4 million capital appropriation, we were able to purchase 7 new ambulances, which we now have put into service, and allowed us to add those 3 new medic units, again, without any additional cost. We are currently awaiting 3 more ambulances and 13 brand new fire engines. We've ordered these out of that same appropriation and are expected to have them begin arriving as early as this summer. And we're in the process of acquiring 425 new self-contained breathing apparatus for our firefighters, that being an inherent safety tool for our firefighters. I have no doubt that these new vehicles and pieces of equipment will improve the level of service that we provide our residents and also keep our folks safe as well. In February, we broke ground on Fire Station 19, which will replace an outdated station a half a mile away from where the new ones will sit, and it also sits across from the new Lentz Public Health Center. In the upcoming weeks, we hope to break ground on a new Fire Station 20 in Green Hills. Both stations are expected to be completed this year, and we will improve response times in both areas when they're built. These two additions will bring the number of new stations built under your tenure, Mayor, to 8. I think that's a very great accomplishment, and we certainly appreciate it in the fire department. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the purchase of these vehicles and the building of these stations represent an unprecedented level of support for this fire department and, more importantly, the safety of our residents. We're so proud to be a part of it, and I would like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and your administration's support. And we're proud to be able to serve a city that is seeing success and growth that is the envy of cities across the nation. But with that growth has come challenges. In 2014, we responded to 100,000 emergency fire and EMS calls. That represents a 6% increase in fire calls and ambulance transport since 2012. All of those increased calls add wear and tear on our heavy equipment, which is critical to our mission. As a result, our heavy fleet is quickly aging. The average mileage on a fire engine is near 95,000 miles. The average life expectancy under the criteria established by the Office of Fleet Management is 100,000 miles. The average mileage on our ambulance is 145,000 miles, while the life expectancy, once again under the criteria established by Fleet, is 150,000 miles. Due to the attention and quality of care provided by General Services and Fleet Management, we believe that our vehicles will outlast those life expectancy standards. But it is critical for us to continue to replace our fleet as it ages to ensure that we can continue to fulfill our mission. With that in mind, we are recommending modest improvements for the next fiscal year. We recommend adding 3 more ambulance units, bringing the total of units in service at all times to 28. That would require an additional 33 employees to staff 4 shifts in EMS, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We believe that expanding our ambulance services is critical, particularly as Nashville's population grows and ages. We recommend hiring 19 new firefighter EMTs to ensure that we maintain the highest safety standards when we respond to fires. This will increase safety not only to the citizens of Nashville, but to the fire personnel as well. We recommend that the city continue to implement the fire master plan and look to replace and renovate fire stations that are outdated and have become expensive to maintain. Before closing, I believe it's important for me to state our mission for all to hear. The mission of the Nashville Fire Department is to provide high-quality fire, medical and rescue emergency responses, and community support services to citizens and visitors within Nashville and Davidson County, so they can work and reside in a community where an all-hazard response minimizes harm to life, property, and the environment. It's a mission that we're proud to fulfill every day, and we believe that with your support, we can exceed those expectations. I want to thank all of you for your time, and we're ready to answer any questions you may have.
Right. Well, first let's talk about the new stations. There have been 8 done since I've been mayor, is that right?
Well, by the time you leave, it'll be 8 completed, yes.
Right, and the last one being completed is the?
It'll be Station 20 in the Green Hills area.
In the Green Hills area. Charlotte Green Hills. Right. And you have, we'll end up at the end of this fiscal year with 25 ambulances?
In just a very few days, we'll have 25 ambulances, yes, sir.
And so during the course of the last 8 years, we've gone from somewhere from 17 or 18 to 25?
I believe it was 17 to 25, yes, sir.
Okay. And I want to give credit to the fire department where the vast majority of that, or if not all of it, was done through reorganization, finding savings, and adding on without any additional request for money.
Yes, sir.
And that is an area which I think there's a real need, and it serves the public and actually has a great effect on your life-saving responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
Right. And your request is to add on to the 25 an additional 3 to get to 28?
Yes, sir. That would have us at 28.
Right. What do you have a sense of what the optimum number is?
Well, it's a very nebulous target just due to the change in demographics, age-wise, and things such as that. Also compounded with new people coming in. I think at some point in time when we get 31, 32, we're going to be adequate. One of the reasons why we need those additional units is because every transport at a minimum requires about an hour of that medic unit's time. And so you may have 40 ambulances, but if you have 40 transports during the day, well, that's 40 hours taken out of the time that they have on deck to respond to other calls.
Chief, you mentioned the call volume going up 6% and 100,000 calls.
Yes, sir.
What percentage of those are EMS calls vis-a-vis fire suppression calls?
The percentage of EMS calls, Leanne, have you got that?
Over 80,000 are EMS.
Yeah, so the vast majority.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And once again, that necessitates the request from our medic units.
And you tell us, it's an interesting idea, this fast cars.
Yes, sir.
Just tell us, for the listeners, what the fast car concept is.
Okay, the last engines that we purchased came in at $418,000. I can't tell you what an SUV, a Tahoe, comes in at, probably in the neighborhood of $48,000 to $50,000. Consequently, we in the past, when we had heavy pieces of fire equipment responding to medic calls, and the reason why we do that is because there's more of those engines than there are ambulances. We're putting a lot of wear and tear on a very expensive piece of equipment. Consequently, if we can make sure we have the staffing correct at certain stations to where we can staff that fast car, which will perform the same emergency medical needs as that $418,000 engine would, we're saving a lot of wear and tear on a very expensive piece of equipment. Also, I think there's safety aspects to it. We try to prevent MVAs and motor vehicular accidents with our equipment and everything, but the last thing I want to do is have an accident involving a fire engine in my car. So there's a safety component to it there as well.
All right, and how did that program get implemented?
Actually, it was implemented several years ago when former Chief Halford was there, and then it just dropped by the wayside. And, due to the fact that we respect every penny that we get in the form of our budget, we've taken a back look at, why not do this again to accomplish many different things. To make sure that we're saving wear and tear on the vehicles. We can probably get that Tahoe there quicker than a heavy piece of equipment. It's going to be safer for the citizens as well as our firefighters.
Okay, very good. And you've been doing some work with the Diversity Committee yourself.
Yes, sir.
How's that going?
I think it's going very well. The fire department has some own ideas on how we want to, increase the diverse populations in the city being represented within our own department. But I think it's very good in my instance to interface with these other department heads. You've got successes. I think we're eventually going to have some successes, great successes, but it's a good learning tool for me as an individual. Plus, we've gone out into the community. And, we're getting ideas from the community. And once again, I just see it as a great thing happening, and I think it's something necessary to move this fire department as well as the city forward.
Okay. Rich, you have anything?
That's right.
I don't.
Well, thank you all for your great work, and thank you for managing the department in such a way that you're able to increase the amount of ambulance service for the public. And thank you for your responses to all the emergencies and your great work during the recent bad weather we've had. You spent a lot of time together up at ECC, and you put a lot of hours in, and I appreciate that for it. And I appreciate all the members of the fire department for what they do for our city. We're proud of you all, and we feel well served.
Well, thank you, sir. And I have to give credit to the whole management team. We really do work as a team.
Good. Thank you.